Good morning. Welcome to Morning Prayer with the Folks of St. Mary's on this lovely October day. Seems like it might be lovely. There was beautiful sunshine before it was coming straight in. It was so gorgeous. I stopped for 5 seconds just to admire it. That's funny. Yesterday, a lovely little girl put some blue nail polish on 4 of my fingernails, and there's still remnants there. That's funny. I don't know if you can see that from the camera over there, but that's funny to look at that while I'm playing today. It's nice. All right, so we are here this morning to share together a time of quiet and a time of reflection, a time of looking inward as well as looking outward, connecting to each other and to that which is greater, to love in the world and how we can participate in that. So as we have been doing, we will start with Come to the Waters as our invitation. To the waters, tried to leave my nan on speakerphone, but she's making too much noise. Poor Graham, she's coughing. That's okay, Graham. I hope you can still hear me. We awaken in our time to a universe which is holy, to creation which is not an event in the past, but a living event of the present. We enter a new mode of human presence where we are not merely observers, but where each of us is a participant in this moment of evolution. Like all other creatures, we carry with us wisdom and values, the dynamics of the universe. But unlike other creatures, we must choose whether and how we will live in harmony within this sacred web of creation. May we be open to the source of all being within and among us. We have the capacity to wonder and to celebrate this great mystery of existence within such a magnificent universe. In us, the universe enters into a great celebration of itself. We are part of the dance, the great work, the great liturgy which is the universe unfolding. Glory to you, source of all being. This great liturgy finds expression at this moment in us. Gathered here in a posture of prayerful openness with listening hearts, loving spirits, and holy wonder. May the sacred web that unites us with each other, our source and all creation, ignite communities of light and hope throughout the earth. That's my favorite line. May we be open to the source of all being within and among us. Gracious, gentle spirit of love, your energy permeates the universe, igniting earth with your goodness, truth, and beauty. May our minds and hearts be open to a deeper awareness of our interconnectedness with you, each other, and all creation. May we experience your unique presence within the sacred web of creation. I don't know about y'all, but this week was an interesting week. It was a week of extremes for me. Like some really, really wonderful things and some really, really hard things as well. And so it's always, I don't know, for me, that's always hard for me to know where to land with all of that. Where do I sit? Do I acknowledge the really hard and the really difficult? Do I sit with that because I don't want to deny it and I don't want to bury it and I don't want to avoid it? Also, here's a whole list of really awesome things that happened this weekend. I don't want to deny them or ignore them or take any of their power away or be any less grateful for any of them, and that two-ness is hard to hold together for me. Some of y'all might find that easier. I hope so, because hopefully some people do find it easier and can give advice to those of us who don't. But somewhere in the middle, I think, as part of a coming together, is thinking about how to be this part in the midst of this part. I thought of the song "Make Me an Instrument of Your Peace." It talks so much about those two sides, two parts of the same thing, but so different. So we're going to sing that now. We're going to sing Sarah McLachlan's version because I really like it. And I know Claire does too, and for sure Claire's watching. I wrote her too, so I don't know about the rest of you.
Let me sow love.
eternal life. Amen. As usual, I read through all the readings for today, and as usual, I didn't find it easy to pick one because, I don't know, me and the Bible have never been like super tight. There's some, amazing things in there and beautiful things, for sure. But I don't know, I've never felt connected to it. I don't know, I know some people really do, and I just never have. Never, since I even ever started thinking about it. So I always struggle with it. I'm not sure why exactly, but I just always struggle with it. Anyhow, I read through the readings, and I did find one that's kind of spoke to what I felt was the emerging theme today, and this kind of what I said just earlier about this double thing, this how things, there can be such bad things and such wonderful things that hurt so much, and things that are so warm and loving. And anyhow, I have some other quotes because the Bible didn't do it for me, but I'm going to start with the Bible because it's maybe a good place to start. So one of the readings today was Isaiah in chapter 53, verses 4 to 12. So let's read it, and then I guess I'll keep going. Here it is, Isaiah 53. Like they're talking, it's like Isaiah's a prophet, right? And so it's talking about Jesus to come. So it's these also, you know what else is problematic with these readings is that they start like in the middle of something, and you're like, oh, well, what came before? I don't know. Anyway, so obviously he's prophesying, Mr. Isaiah is, and talking about the future Jesus as the servant and the lamb. So we just have to work it out as we go along. The servant grew up before God, a scrawny seedling, a scrubby plant in a parched field. There was nothing attractive about him, nothing to cause us to take a second look. He was looked down on and passed over, a man who suffered, who knew pain firsthand. One look at him and people turned away. We looked down on him, thought he was scum. But the fact is, it was our pains he carried, our disfigurements, all the things wrong with us. We thought he brought it on himself, that God was punishing him for his own failures. But it was our sins that did that to him, that ripped and tore and crushed him. Our sins. He took the punishment, and that made us whole. Through his bruises, we get healed. We're all like sheep who've wandered off and gotten lost. We've all done our own thing, gone our own way. And God has piled all our sins, everything we've done wrong, on him. On him. He was beaten, he was tortured, but he didn't say a word. Like a lamb taken to be slaughtered and like a sheep being sheared, he took it all in silence. Justice miscarried, and he was let off. And did anyone really know what was happening? He died without a thought for his own welfare, beaten bloody for the sins of my people. They buried him with the wicked, threw him in a grave with a rich man, even though he'd never hurt a soul, or said one word that wasn't true. Okay, the following verse I have an issue with. I don't know how to hold it. Still, it's what God had in mind all along, to crush him with pain. The plan was that he give himself as an offering for sin, so that he'd see life come from it. Life, life, and more life. And God's plan will deeply prosper through him. Out of that terrible travail of soul, he'll see that it's worth it, and be glad he did it. Through what he experienced, my righteous one, my servant, will make many righteous ones, as he himself carries the burden of their sins. Therefore I'll reward him extravagantly, the best of everything, the highest honors. because he looked death in the face and didn't flinch, because he embraced the company of the lowest. He took on his shoulders the sin of the many. He took up the cause of all the black sheep. All right, so there's that whole duality again, right? The contrast between Jesus, who was, without sin and was all good and was all the things that we want to be, and then just the horrible treatment that he underwent and what he had, the burden he had to carry, and even how his physical body was treated and how his spirit was broken, really. My God, why have you forsaken me? And so there's those two things dwelling together somehow. And that verse, man, if Walter were here, he'd try to explain it to me, but I know he's not. He's somewhere else. But still, it's what God had in mind all along, to crush him with pain. The plan was that he'd give himself as an offering for sin so that he'd see life come from it. I don't know. I have problems with that kind of language, that it's like God made a plan for that person to suffer. I don't know if it's just the language. I don't know if it's interpretable in a different way or not. But the only way I've ever felt like I could live with that is by thinking it through in the following way, which is, like, here we all are on this, beautiful planet, etc., etc. I mean, it's the whole free will versus predestiny thing, right? If God predetermined that, if he kept all choices out, then we wouldn't be able to make awful choices. But then also we wouldn't be making any choices. And so we would be whatever it was that he wanted us to be. So here we all are with this each life to live, with this opportunity to make those choices for ourselves and to see what love is and see what good and evil are and see what connection and disconnection are. And it's like our opportunity to learn that for ourselves and then make decisions about how we want to live with that for ourselves. And I think it's what makes us free. It's also what makes for so much awfulness in the world, because people sometimes make choices that are the root of that awfulness. But to say like in that verse that it was like the plan, I mean, if one wanted to play with the words and say, use the word plan very broadly, then maybe, but I don't know, I find it difficult. Then I was reading this week a quote that I saw. Who sent it originally? I don't know, maybe it was just suggested to me. I can't remember. But I shared it on my Facebook anyway, and I talked about it yesterday, so Claire and Richard have to, and Julie if she's there, and Megan if she's there, have to listen to it again a little bit, but I thought it spoke to this question of how to hold in the same basket the awfulness and the amazing wonderfulness together. I'm going to read the quote. So it's like this. It's by an author named Louise Erdrich. I'm not too sure how to pronounce her last name. She's an American author of, she's German, French, and Ojibwa. And she won a Pulitzer Prize, I think last year, something like that. And this is a quote from a book she wrote called The Painted Drum. Life will break you. Nobody can protect you from that. And living alone won't either. For solitude will also break you with its yearning. You have to love. You have to feel. It is the reason you are here on earth. You are here to risk your heart. You are here to be swallowed up. And when it happens that you are broken or betrayed or left or hurt or death brushes near, let yourself sit by an apple tree and listen to the apples falling all around you in heaps, wasting their sweetness. Tell yourself you tasted as many as you could. I find it easier to relate to such quotes than to the text of the Bible. Oh, sunshine. I don't know if you can tell the change in the light just then. But to me, she sums it up so very well. And it made me think of another quote, which I found. I mentioned it yesterday morning at our mindfulness group, and I found it, and it's a C.S. Lewis quote, and it's from The Four Loves. It made me think of this quote, which is a bit harsher, actually, but it makes the same point, I think. To love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything, and your heart will be wrung and possibly broken. If you want to make sure of keeping it intact, you must give it to no one, not even an animal. Wrap it carefully round with hobbies and little luxuries. Avoid all entanglements. Lock it up safe in the casket or coffin of your selfishness. But in that casket, safe, dark, motionless, airless, your heart, will change. It will not be broken. It will become unbreakable, impenetrable, irredeemable. To love is to be vulnerable. So it's kind of a slightly different but not different take on a similar idea, I think. And really highlighting that notion of, well, what he said in the last sentence there, that to love is to be vulnerable. Always. And then it made me think of, I have a little chain going here. Don't worry, it doesn't go forever. I only have 2 pieces of paper and we're already done with one, so. I thought of something else. It made me think of, and one time Phil Stokes sent me this quote once. I can't remember the exact reason or context at that time, but it's from a song called Anthem by Leonard Cohen. And the lyrics to the chorus are, "Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in." There's this part of me that feels like I have to interpret and connect things, but I feel like you're smart and grown-ups and can connect all these things for yourselves the way that makes the most sense to you. But it's just all these different ways of looking at this hard thing, this difficult thing of cracks and light, and how much the cracks hurt and how good the light feels when it comes in. Made me think of one last thing. Can you handle it? I'm trying not to be too ADD about how I present it all, but hopefully it's all making sense. It made me think of, I'd heard about it before, but it had been a long time and I'd forgotten some of the details of it, but last winter I did, I'm sure I must have mentioned it, I did a course called Mindful Self-Compassion, based on a program by Kristen Neff and, poor guy, he always gets forgotten, Chris something or other. I can't remember his last name, the other person that wrote it. Anyhow, I followed this course, and it often would end, or maybe even always would end with poem at the end, and one time, or a song or something like that. And one time they talked about the practice, so it's called this kintsugi. It's the Japanese art of putting broken pottery pieces back together with gold, built on the idea that in embracing flaws and imperfections, you can create an even stronger, more beautiful piece of art. And again, it's just like another angle or a lens through which to look at what I think is the same central idea. This idea of, I mean, it's a bit different, right? Because in the Leonard Cohen, it's leave the cracks. That's how the light gets in. And it's a beautiful way of looking at it. And this also is a beautiful way of looking at it. You can take those pieces and, don't throw them away. Don't discard them, but actually put them back together, and don't even use, gold or, don't even use like just glue or like whatever, but use gold and honor the cracks and honor the fact that those pieces were once broken and have come together and made something strong and beautiful again. I feel like this whole thought process is, well, I mean, I don't suppose the process is ever over, but is just still kind of turning around in me, and so I don't have like a nice, lovely sum up deep thought to give. But what I have, especially when I don't have a deep thought to share, is a song. And I feel like if you know us at all, know me at all, you know that the song that will come next is Calling All Angels. Because it really is, again, another lens, another way, another angle. I don't know which word to use. They all work in different ways to think about it, to think about the same thing. So I'm just going to sing the song while we all think about these thoughts. How do we hold all of it together? And somehow be left stronger, be more of an instrument, not less, be more whole, not more broken, be more loving, not more bitter. And we not allow the difficult and heartbreaking and awful things overwhelm the beautiful and the loving and the wondrous. That's the question. And here's a song that doesn't answer it, but also asks the question. It's too late. Take a moment to be quiet together now for a while. Take a few breaths again. Get in touch at this time and this place. We can think first of gratitude and that for which we are grateful, things large, things small, everywhere in between. Grateful for things such as sunlight and moonlight and parks where we can watch the sunset, forests that we can walk in, gardens we can sit in. Grateful also and very much for the hands that we can hold as we take all of those things in. All of those people in our lives who will soak in sunlight with us, who will watch sunsets with us by the water, who will walk with us through the forest, who will sit in gardens next to each other. Being instruments for each other, being angels for each other, being for each other the light that comes through the cracks, being for each other the gold that glues our pieces back together again. You can take a moment to think about how you feel today, how you feel about your week, how you feel about the things that went on, the things that happened in your own life, the things that you know were present in the lives of others close to you or more globally. And then you might want to ask yourself, where in all of those things did you feel connected or disconnected to love? And those moments where you felt connected, those moments where you felt disconnected, both, are they moving you towards a deeper connection somewhere, somehow? And certainly part of moving us into deeper connection in whatever way often requires a moment to stop and think about mending. And so what relationships might need mending? What boundaries might need mending? What feelings might need mending or repair? Again, that can be applied to ourselves personally or even in a wider community or even globally. Thinking about what relationships, what boundaries, what needs repair, and holding that in our hearts for a while. And then having walked through all of those steps, noticing, reflecting, mending, considering what needs mending, we think about what we might want to intend. So what? Now what? What's calling you forward? What's calling you forward? Again, that can be personal and it can be in a wider community, it can be globally, it can be thought of at all sorts of levels. But setting an intention is, I believe, is what helps us move forward. Even if it's a small intention. And surrounding and underpinning all of that, we return to thoughts of gratitude. Gratitude for all that lets in the light, both in our own lives and the lives of others. more of what lets in the light. More gold to mend the broken pieces. Someone once gave me one of those Tibetan singing bowls, and I often at the end want to ring it. I get it. I never really. I don't know. I think it's just a signal. I don't know. I've never really looked into what the meaning is behind those. But I think it's just a signal. It's like saying amen to close or whatever. But I often want to just ding it, and I have to find it. I know. I think I know where it is. Maybe I'll have it here next week. We can try it. And now may love bless and protect us. May love smile on us and be gracious to us. May love show us favor and give us peace. May the peace of love be always with you. There aren't a whole lot of notices today. They bear startling resemblance to the notices of last week. By now, if you are on our email list, you will have received an email regarding the meeting that we will have today by Zoom at 4:30, chaired by Archdeacon Michel Eason. The motion was in the email. I don't think I need to try to pull it out and read it, but we're going to vote on the future of the community of St. Mary's, and yes, so that's what's happening today at 4:30. If you don't have the link, but you want the link, send me a message, put a comment right here. We'll make sure you get the link. And I don't know if it will be decided today, maybe it will, but we will choose a date for a final get-together as a community to celebrate what we've shared together for so many years. I expect it'll be either next weekend or the weekend after, but not later than that. And I don't know where it will be yet either. So those details will follow. I will be here next Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, doing the same, and hopefully those details will be more clear next week. And if you want to come, as I say, this afternoon, please do. And if you can't be, or you missed it because you're watching this later on, just hold it all, please, in your heart. And so we sing the blessing. May the blessing of light be on you, light within and light without. May the blessed sunlight shine on you like a great peat fire, so that stranger and friend may come and warm themselves at it. And may light shine out of the two eyes of you, like a candle set in the window of a house, bidding the wanderer come in out of the storm. And may the blessing of the rain be on you. May it beat upon your spirit and wash it fair and clean, and leave there a shining pool where the blue of heaven shines, and sometimes a star. And may the blessing of the earth be on you, soft under your feet as you pass along the roads, soft under you as you lie out on it, tired at the end of day, and may it rest easy over you when at last you lie out under it. And now may love bless you, and bless you kindly.